Good morning and welcome to the SHAC Shack. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. My name is Barbara Gray from Clarity Stamp here in the UK, and welcome to another hour of doodling and hanging out together. Is anybody there apart from me? Is the sound okay, Jilly? Jilly's in the building with you if you have any questions. She's here to help you. And now I just need to see if there's anybody other than me here. Cheers. Nothing like a good cup of tea. This is, sound is good. Thank you, Jilly. This is hour 241. Good morning, everybody. Come on in. This is the second time we've hung out together this week. If you recall, yay, here they come. Do you remember we said, well, I said, and then you agreed with me, that that once a week wasn't enough, really. There was too big of a gap between the Thursdays. And so we decided to slot in another little doodle session together on a Monday, which I'm really happy about. And yesterday I was chatting to Lisa, lovely Lisa at work. And yeah, so we've got some really nice things lined up actually. And we made a plan going forward. I think you'll really enjoy it. I think you actually really will enjoy it. So come on in. It's always good to make a plan, isn't it? You know, for me, I need to know where we're headed. Since I'm the bus driver, I always feel more comfortable and more relaxed if I know where I'm going. I don't think I've ever flicked the switch on the SHAC Shack and not known or had a rough idea where we're headed, you know. Now, if I could only learn that before I get in the car, I usually know where I'm going or what the destination is. Let's put it that way. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, so this afternoon I'm heading up to Peterborough. I am indeed, because tomorrow, well, Paul's on the telly. This is why Jilly's in the room with you. He's doing a superb launch at 11 o'clock. When we finish here today, he's on the craft store with a Pergamano show, launching some of Linda Williams' brilliant layout plates. I don't know if you remember the layout plates. Well, we did the stamps, which flew last year, and we also had a small collection of groovy plates. And so, spreading the love, the groovy plates are on today. There was a little set last year, and this is the other set. I think these are better, but there you go. So I think there are 6 layout plates on the show. Brilliant. So have a look at that. That's hey Pat, good morning, love. It's 10 o'clock now. Yeah, 11 o'clock, Paul will be revving up for that. And then I'm going up because I've got TV shows tomorrow on Create and Craft. I know. Full circle. Here we go. I haven't been there for 6 years, so that'll be interesting. And I'm really nervous. I'm as nervous as I was 15 years ago, the very first time I went on Create and Craft. Isn't that funny? Yeah. It's really weird. So I'm really glad we're hanging out together today because it calms me down. It does. It just grounds me. That's the whole point of the shack, isn't it? To ground. It's as good for, if it's good for you, believe you me, it's every bit as good for me. Have you got your tea? Good. I'm off the coffee. Because it makes me anxious. And my anxiety levels are through the roof at the moment, so we don't want to add to it, do we? No, we don't, Barbara. Good morning from a very chilly North Kent Downs. It is. It's very chilly, Janet. It's brass monkeys here too. But there you go. It's not raining. Sun shining. Nice crisp black ice. That's what you want when you're on the way to Peterborough. Oh, she's in one of those modes. Right, come on. Have you got your therapy box? This is what I'm calling this now. This is my little therapy box, people. Come on, let's have a look. What have we got? This always makes me feel better because it feels like I've actually achieved something. So I do that and then I stick that in there and I go, oh yeah, bed and breakfast in Wales results. It looks like you. Do you know what? I think I'm going to give this to my dentist. Doesn't it look like loads of teeth? Do you know? I think I may just do that. That one looks too much like little nicey bices. Hey, couldn't I? I could do a couple of missing ones, black them out. Right, where were we? Oh yeah, so this is the stamp board we're using. These are our doodles. There's one that I showed you where we started, just in case you weren't here on Monday. Let's have a look what we got. This is a nice one. I've got to hang on to that dentist one. I think you'll like that. Right, hang on. So let's have a look. Let's have a little recap. There's a colourful dentist. Right. Okay. So what we did, we took one of the little stamp boards and we made a line like that. All right. I mean, we're working on the smallest size stamp board that you can get. So if I hadn't run out of time this morning, I actually had contemplated doing a larger one because I think it looked really nice. And I think it might be a bit easier, to be fair. So, but there you go. If you're struggling with this, try it on a larger piece. Just on a larger square. Just go large scale. Instead of like 2.5, go 4 by 4. That might be easier. All right, but don't sweat it. Let's have a look. So what we need, let's get our ingredients, shall we? Are you ready to do this? Or are you just hanging out with us and listening to the banter? Have a look. HB, there's a good one. HB is always handy. Bog standard pencil, eh? And then today, what we're going to use? Well, we've got a couple of grey pencils in there, the polychromos. They're handy, aren't they? They are. Warm beige, I love that one. Warm grey too. Right, there we are. And then the other thing that we're going to use today is the pergoline, the perga colours. I've got the pergoliners here too. So you can use pencils or you can use these. If you're going to use the pencils, you need to sharpen them because you're going to get into the tiny little areas. But it's all right. These Faber-Castell sharpeners are very good, you know. I've started using these. They're good. So that's something to consider. Right, that, and that. So let's have a look. So this is what we did. Just a little recap on Monday. Right. Let's do it in large just to recap it so you get it, and then we'll see where we went. So what we did, it's really easy. Very lightly, you take a pencil. You're going to make 3 sections. So you could start up here, and you're going to end up down here somewhere. So let's look at it like this. There you go, the high line. And then we'll start over here, and maybe we'll come in a bit on there and come there. Oh yeah, that's a bit dodgy, but that'll do. So you've got 3 areas. Okay, can you see that all right? Here you can see, because it's so busy now, you almost can't see that there are 3 areas. But we'll bring them out in a minute with colour. Look, see, and do it twice. 1, 2, 3. So, but the way to deconstruct it, because you look at that and you think, well, where do you begin? Well, the starting place is the divider lines, right? The fence. So we've got the fence, and then we're going to put the centres. So it's like an aerial view. Think of it as New York aerial view. So we'll put one centre there. We could put one centre there. That's a good place. And then another one, I would say here. And then you've got, that's your 3 sets there. I'm giving you a chance to go and get all your bits and pieces. And then what we're going to do is build the actual high line. This is the walkway, right? So we're going to put boxes. This is the only bit actually where we go in pencil first, only because we don't want to put a pen line through the boxes. See? So do you remember? It's really I like this process because it's not difficult. It's very methodical. You could put a round one. There you go. Roundabout. But it makes you focus and it stops you worrying about stuff. I woke up this morning at 5 o'clock. I was gripped. You know that? Do you get that fear? The grip of fear. I'm laughing now. I wasn't laughing at 5 o'clock this morning. Do you ever get it? It gets you by the throat and you go, and you wake up and you think, oh no. And then the list just gets longer and longer of things to worry about. And once that train leaves the station in my head, it's really hard to get it back in again, back into its box. Do you find that? Once that thought process, that washing machine starts and goes into spin, it's very hard to calm it back down again. So I find, if you're new to the Shack, the safe, happy and creative gang here, this is really, you don't have to wait till 10 o'clock on a Monday or a Thursday to do this stuff. This is the therapy box. And as soon as I start doing this, because I've got to concentrate, right? And I've got to focus on what I'm doing, what I find is I can't concentrate on this and on all the stuff going on in my head. So I have to park that. I don't even have to do it consciously. Just have to see, at the moment, I've got so much going on in my head. I can't listen to books either. Usually I can listen to a book, massive distraction. I'm carried away in this fantasy world of novels. Can't do it at the moment because I'll be listening. And then 5 minutes later, I think, got all these voices in my head telling me a story. And I think, what's happened? Who's he? Why is he dead? Why are the police there? It's like, rewind. And then it's like reading a book when you fall asleep. The reason I listen to books is because when I read a paper book, I usually nod off. But at the moment, there's so much going on. There's so much traffic that this is the only thing really that works. What works for you? What do you do when, well, I don't know, maybe you don't have those washing machine days, those heads super spin, huh? But if you do, and I imagine that most of us actually do, I can't imagine I'm the only one. What do you do? What do you do? Do you drink? I used to drink. I used to drink for oblivion. There you go. Now that's no longer a solution for me. So doodling does the job, and it's a lot cheaper and less fattening than booze. Right, come on, Gray, get started or we'll never finish this highline masterpiece. Right, so you see how we do it. Then what you do is, just to recap, so you know, on these lines, you see there's no, so you put the boxes in. I'm just doing one high line so you understand. These are those Micron pens we use. What we got? 005, a little bit on the thin side. Because in the box, I know, she shows us every time. Yeah, well, that's because I want you to buy them. Right, hang on. And that would solve one of my washing machine worries. Right, here we go. One. It's a fatter one. There are 7 in the set, ranging from 005, which is a tiny one, right up to 08. Great for doodling. Lovely art pens. Right, there you go. That was the pitch. And they run out, so you do need another set if they start drying up. See the difference? Thinner, fatter. Speaking of thinner, fatter, how are my fellow grayscalers getting on? Hey? Do you know there's about 250 odd of us in the group? And then what a stupid time to start a month before Christmas. Although having said that, maybe it wasn't such a daft time to start really, because on this one here you need your circles as well, your pearls. Maybe it wasn't such a daft because I managed to lose £9 before I went and piled it all back on again. I'm back on track now. I just have a thing about throwing food away. I can't throw food away. And so I have to eat it. I think it hails back to my childhood with my German mother. You will eat that. African children are starving and you won't eat your liver. Yeah. So here we go. Look, 01, just to recap. So yeah, go back to anxiety and fear and worry. Come on, give us a clue. What do you do? What do you do to calm the mind? See, then what you do here is you put the line in, the high line, the path, if you will, right? And this is on a bigger one. It's easier. This is easier than this, okay? But this is bite size. So it's not so, at first glance, you think this is going to be easier. But because it's quite small, it's quite challenging. Come on, tell us what you do. I can't do this and have a look. Washing machine days, describe it well, Barb. They do, don't they, Judith? Solution for me is to go for a walk. Yeah. If I weren't going up to Peterborough, Judith, I'd be with you on that one. Straight up the Ashdown Forest. Although that doesn't sort the washing machine head out. I just take it with me. Sometimes I get all the way around. I've done 10,000 steps. And when I get back, I think, why did I take everyone with me that's getting on my pip? So this is actually better for me personally. But yeah, a bit of fresh air does help. And looking at lovely views is good too, isn't it? I'll tell you another one that really works for me. And they cheer me up like that, is the cats. Sit in the kitchen by the Aga with a cup of tea, cuddle a cat. They just have this wonderful energy, don't they? And when they start purring, it just lifts your spirits. It does for me anyway. And we've got all the cat haters going, you must be joking. That's the last thing I'm going to do is get a cat. Well, then Doodle. See, and then when this is dry, you've got to wait until the ink is dry. And then, just see, you've got to make sure your eraser is clean as well. And then you lift out gently. If you press too hard, it will go pink. So don't press so hard, right? You don't have to. You really don't. Because often I see people go, the Faber-Castell pink rubber makes everything go pink. It does if you press hard. If you grind it into the card, chances are it will go pink, guys. But if you don't press too hard, well, voila, it doesn't. So just take your foot off the pressure and you'll be surprised. See? Sometimes I do too, and then I realise I've pressed too hard and it's pink. There you go, easy. And once you've done that, then you can, so you get rid of the, I should wait for this to dry really, Barbara. Then you start using the epicenters to work your way out. So if we were going with this one here, then you take your 01 and you just make lines, and along those lines, you begin to doodle. So what we were doing was we were pretending, weren't we, that this is like the park, Battery Park or wherever, somewhere in New York. And this is the High Line or the Skyline. I can't remember what it's called now. God, my memory. And then we do this, don't we? And then we build different doodles around the lines. And you don't have to completely fill it. You can put 3 little lines next to each other, but everything goes outwards from these parks, if you like. Look, we've got a green park, we've got a red park, and we've got a purple park. There you go. So if you pretend that you're high up in a helicopter and you're looking down, that's what we're going to look at. Sometimes these might be roads, these might be buildings, but they all head towards the park, the roundabouts. Okay. This could be Milton Keynes, couldn't it? Or Stevenage. Stevenage, the land of roundabouts. Anyone here live in Stevenage? I've never seen so many roundabouts in a town. It's mad, isn't it? We have a few around here, but not like Stevenage. I bet in the Guinness Book of Records, Stevenage holds the record for the most roundabouts in town. Anybody here from Stevenage? And why do I know that? Because we used to do a stamp show in Stevenage, and you had to go around about 10 roundabouts to get to and you haven't gone far, just round. Did I ever tell you about when my mum, when she was learning to drive? Speaking of roundabouts, right, well, let's get started. Let me just write that down and I'll tell you about my mum. I have a story. Mum and roundabouts. Oh my word, roundabouts. Let me write that down because I'll forget to tell you. Right. Okay, here we go. Colouring now. Shall we do some colouring? We could use Perga colours or Perga liners. Your call. Your call. Or use what you've got. Where are my Perga colours? These are good. Let's go with these. And I'm going to use the same colours as I used there, just because I know that it looks nice. But you can use any colours you like. So I've written it. I've actually, you won't believe this, I've written down the colours that I use because that's something that I usually don't do. 7 is the red. I think I used, Did I use 29? Yes, I did. 29. It looks yellow, but it's actually like a lime green. I really like that one. And then the purple one, so there's a couple of purples in it. Yeah, it's 30 pens. You get a lot of bang for your buck, guys. Was it number 10? No. It's a lighter one. Number 9. Come in number 9. I'll tell you what one would look really nice too. I like this colour, but I always go for teals and blues. I bet this would look good though. Let me just check the colour, because you could take that one out and put a teal in. I bet that would look really lovely too. Should we try it? Oh, okay. Let me just check it. Let me just check the colour first before I do that. So we're going to check the colour. We're going to use the teal, perhaps. Let me check. And the red. Teal and red always look nice together, don't they? Yeah. And teal and purple definitely look good together. So I reckon. Right, we'll park the lime green. Let's try a different colour. See what it looks like. Okay. Right, purple, teal, red. Cool. Let's start in the middle. Let's do some colouring. You pick your 3 colours. I've picked my 3 colours. Go on. Decide what colours you want to pick. Pick any colour you like. You don't have to use the colours I'm using. Use what you like. Pick your favourites. Go on. Pick your favourites. I'm just going to start drinking that now. Oh, the chest pains are going. Right, sound is good. Doodling, groovy, knitting, zentangle, walking, stroking, or cat, see? And Chris Berry lives in Stevenage. So Chris, roundabouts. Mad, isn't it? Hey? Well, maybe there are towns with other roundabout, records. But I'll tell you what, you can't help but notice, can you, in Stevenage? You're just about changed into second gear and you're at the next roundabout. Must be every motorist nightmare there. Now, let me see. I'm going to go with the thin nib. Yeah, the thin one. And we're going to go to the centre. Let's colour this in. There you are. Nice. There, that wasn't too difficult. Right. And then I'm going to concentrate. I'm just going to concentrate on the teal. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to jump about between colours, because that will just do my head in. So I think I'm going to go, these are going to be teal. Right, come on, colour in with me. And if you wanted, even with the pens, you could make a little white mark so it looks like a pearl, if you felt like it. You know, like a little highlight, couldn't you? There, just leave a little white mark. Don't colour it in completely. See? Can you see that? It's going a bit tighter. Hey, not that tight, Barbara. That's better. Right. So, can you see that now? There we go. Yes, I'm going up to Peterborough. Another town with a lot of roundabouts. I think this will look nice. I'm just staying in this. I've got a kind of, do you know what I think as well? I think I've got another idea. Right, park this. Park the middle, and let's do the skylines. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, my anxiety levels are going back up again. So stop. Back it up. What we'll do is we'll do the high lines, these bits first. We'll do the bits that are at the top, and then that divides, okay? Because I just realised this is all well and good, but I could go wrong here because I don't know what's what. So let's make the barriers. Let's put the fences up. I'm going to go with my purple first then. Purple thin end. Yeah, okay. I think this is a better idea, actually. All right. So we're going to put the purple in the middle there. So just to make sure that we are in the right. And I'm going to do a purple here and red there. Are we cool with that? Good. So what we'll do is we'll go along here and we'll just do a few, not all of them, because some of them we might want to stripe up. We might want to put stripes in, see? Choices, choices, choices. Isn't it? Hey? Yeah. So think now about where you're putting your solid ones. You can always add more. See, what I'm doing is where there's a bit of busyness, I'm putting a solid one. And where you could actually handle a stripe, I'm leaving it. Yeah. I think so. Okay. So then I could go back in and I'm going to put stripes in. And that's where these super fine pens come into their own. Look. Nice. You could put stripes going that way. Put stripes going that way. Don't know what to do there. When in doubt, hang about. There you go. Another stripy one there. Stripy one there. Just got to think about what you're doing. I think I'm going to do a stripe one that way. That'll do. And if I feel I should probably colour one in, I can still do that too, can't I? There you go, that's better. Okay, so I've done that one. At least now I know where the actual high line is. Here we go. I'm just going to pop the path in. Like that. You could do it in black as well, couldn't you? I mean, that's the thing with this. If you feel afterwards that might look better with black on it, then change it. But let's get the line in so you know what you're doing. I think that's good for calming the head. Certainly worked for me then. Right now, red one. Okay, we cool with this? Red's good. Right, here we go again. So this is the line there. So put way, okay. Got to concentrate, haven't you? So we do the solid ones first. Solid one. That one can take a bit of striping. Solid one. Solid one. This is going to be much easier now we've decided where the lines are. It's just a process, isn't it? And the thing is, there are no experts in this building. You know, I only got on the bus about 5 minutes before you got on the bus today. So, you know, I'm not the font of all knowledge. If you've got better ideas or better designs, well, golly, sort it out, do it. I love seeing your lovely artwork on Facebook Live. I think it's great on Clarity Worldwide. I think it's smashing. I love seeing your work. I think, cool, that's better than mine. Cool. Now, let's have a look. I'm going to go back in the turquoise because that's my favourite colour. I like the tealy colour. Everybody happy? Right, let's concentrate on this now. Little bits of colour here and little bits of colour there. My hands are all clammy. When you're nervous, how does your nervousness, if that's a word, manifest itself? How does your when you're nervous or yeah, what happens to you? See, when I get nervous, my hands get all clammy, like proper, and my nose starts running. I don't know if you remember when I used to be on telly years ago. I always had a tissue in my hand because my hands were not just moist, they would drip. So I was always holding a paper towel to soak up because it's quite difficult to craft when your hands are dripping. And then on top of that, my nose starts, when I'm nervous, my nose starts running as well, like a tap. So I spent the whole time doing this so that my nose didn't drip onto the artwork. I know, lovely. And that's what happens to me. I get headaches. That's not so nice. But I get really, really wet hands and chest pains, and then my nose starts dripping. And then you think, what is going on? You know? And I remember somebody was at the studio, I can't remember, about a month ago, when I was up at the craft store a little while ago, and somebody was up there, a new supplier, And she said, "Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous." And I said, "Oh no, I know, I understand. I feel your pain. I was the same when I started." And she said, "How long did it take you to get over it?" I said, "Ooh, about 9 years." She said, "That was great, thanks." And it is the truth. And even now, here we go. You'd think by now I'd be. See, it's not you. It's not the shack. This is lovely. This is cool. This is relaxing. But and it doesn't matter how much I talk to myself. What am I doing here? Hang on a minute. Green, green, green. Okay, let's do this one. Or let's put some teal in. Is that on the right side of the track? Yeah. That'll look nice. Teal in there. It doesn't matter how much I talk to myself. I wonder if you... No, too tight. It runs much deeper, doesn't it, than banter. There, that looks good. This one will look nice as well. I think you're going to go, no, you're not. But I think I am. I think I'm actually a lot more introvert than people think I am. You know? I honestly think a lot of us are more introvert than we put out, you know, than we give out. I mean, when we were kids, when I was a kid, if you were quiet and withdrawn, you got told off. You know, no one likes to see a miserable face. Go to your bedroom. I was like, well, it's not miserable. It's just not all happy clappy all the time, is it? You know. And so you learn, I think, at a very early age, that being gregarious and being outgoing and is socially acceptable, and being quiet and introvert and introspective, if you like, is socially not acceptable. You know, that was what we were kind of. That was the direction we were given. The outgoing kids at school were the popular kids. Mm-hmm. And the quiet ones that sat in the corner, well, they didn't have a lot of friends. And I suppose, so you're taught, aren't you? You're socialized at a young age that you need to be, you know, ta-da! And to be honest, it's my job. You know, this is my hat, isn't it? If I didn't speak much, and I just wouldn't be much fun for anybody, would it? So again, you do what's socially acceptable, don't you? If you get what I'm saying. And then what happens is you fake it to make it, let's say, and then you fake it to make it, and you become that person. But in your core, in your inner core, you're actually not like that. When the phone rings, I don't dash for the phone because I want to talk to somebody. I think, oh no, the phone's ringing. Dave, you get it. Do you see what I mean? And when I'm doing artwork, I love being on my own. I love my own company. Or when I'm doing pottery, brilliant. Nobody around, just me. And if sometimes I reach out and I want to speak to somebody, but in the main, the older I'm getting as well, I find I'm not going to the back of the cave. That's not right. But I'm certainly more and more comfortable with my own company, which is probably the way it is supposed to be, isn't it? Because yeah, I guess that's the way it is when you're young and you know, party. And then as you get older, I guess, you know, you learn to rely on yourself more than on other people. Is that true? Or am I just... I think I'm right, actually. What about you? Are you more introvert? I would say that I'm an introverted extrovert. That's what I am. You know, because you can't just be... It's not like you're either that or you're that. There's got to be a real long sliding scale between the two, hasn't there? You know, some of us are very extrovert and some of us are very introvert. So there's obviously, on a 1 to 10, you know, it depends. When I drank, I was, no, you see, at the beginning of the evening, I'd be way out that end. And by the end of the evening, I'd be way down that end. So, you know, now I'm probably more in the middle. I'm more balanced, believe it or not. I am. I really am. This is me balanced. Okay. Right, come on, keep colouring in, Gray. We'll never get this done. Right. Okay, I'm going to do these bubbles here. I think they look nice. The white ones around the edge I'm leaving. Yeah, so what are you? Do you think you're introvert or do you just not give it any thought? Hmm? I think I've learned, I've adapted, and I've learned to be extrovert. I think that's the truth of it. Yeah. I've got to make sure you got to concentrate, see, or you're going to make a right horlicks of this, Gray. Worrying about whether you're extrovert or introvert. And it varies with who I'm with as well, actually. That's true, isn't it? It depends who I'm with. Yeah, it does. Whether I'm comfortable enough to come out of my skin or not. You know? Believe it or not, I do sometimes not talk. It's only because I'm the only one talking in here, because I'm the only one in here. I don't usually talk as much. Right, what have we got here? I think alternate one. This is quite a good one here. I think I'm going to go get the old teal out on this one. It's nice, isn't it? Simple. Simple. This is it. It's simple, but having said that, you still got to concentrate on what you're doing. So you're going to do every other one. You've got to focus. There you go. Every other one. I think I'm going to do every other one here as well. So I'm going to tell you about my mum, right? I might have told you this story, actually. I feel like I'm repeating myself. When she was taking refresher lessons, or she was taking lessons to drive, and she came in. Oh, I have told you this. I'm sure I have. And she came in and she said, he hit me. The driving instructor hit me. And we were like, what do you mean the driving instructor hit you? He hit me around the head. My dad said, he can't, the driving instructor can't hit you around the head, Hilma. He hit me around the head. So Dad said, well, what did you do? And she said, he told me to go right round the roundabout. And so I did. She did. She went right around the roundabout. She went right into the oncoming traffic. And then she wondered why the driving instructor hit her around the head. And all I can say is, thank God she doesn't live in Stevenage. It would have been battery. Oh dear. Doesn't that look nice? Right, yeah. He hit me. Right, I'm going to go for the red next. I like red. Power colour. And there you are. And I also think, with my extrovert nature now, that's not really extrovert, not extrovert, right? Because when you run a business, when I was in Germany and I ran a business, we're going back to the 80s now, right? Women in business, they had to be pretty assertive. Let's call it assertive. You had to be very assertive to get anywhere as a woman in business. That's the truth. And do you know what? I think that one will look really nice. Black. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to put black around the outside of the eggs like this. I bet this will look nice. Yes. And because I was teaching English to German business people, primarily German businessmen, okay, because it was definitely a man's business world. Although I did teach the secretaries too. Guess what sex they were? But they were very, 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 The women that I taught, you could count on one hand. Henny Schmidt, she was, I bet you know Lebkuchen Schmidt. Yeah, it's in Nuremberg. Lebkuchen Schmidt. And Henny Schmidt was the owner, obviously, the clue's in the surname. And I used to teach Henny Schmidt, or a formidable woman, right? She was an older lady. I got on really well with her. And she was a woman in business, and I was a woman in business, and they were a rare breed, really, very rare breed. And but other than that, it was mostly men. Mary Faber-Castell. I used to work with her. She was a fabulous woman. Love her. Yeah, I really love Mary. She was great. She was an American powerhouse of a woman. I think the Americans were light years ahead of the Europeans when it came to women in business in the 80s. She came from the cosmetic world. She was amazing. Yeah, so I think I realized quite early on, after graduating from college, from university, that if you wanted to get anywhere as a woman, you had to put your red suit on. And I don't mean that I didn't own a red suit, but metaphorically speaking, you had to put your power suit on and you get your briefcase out. I didn't have a red suit, and I didn't have a briefcase. I remember being in Munich, and there was this beautiful leather satchel. It was lovely. I've still got it. I ought to show it to you. And it was so expensive. It was hundreds of marks. But it wasn't a briefcase, but it wasn't a handbag. And it was the perfect size for paperwork, like for folders or for business. And I remember buying it thinking, that's a lot of money for like Italian leather, but it was a beautiful thing. And here we are. So I was 22, 23 years old then. Now I'm 62, 40 years on, and I still won't throw it away. I still use it. It's all faded and worn now, but I think they get better when they get older, don't you? I'm talking about handbags now, friends. But it's a beautiful handbag, and I remember standing for hours in front of this window in Munich thinking, I can't justify this. What I did. And so my kind of business image at the time was, yeah, you had to wear suits. Do you remember those shoulders? Do you remember the shoulders in the 80s? I've still got those as well. Jerry Weber. They were so expensive, these suits. For some reason, I think one day I might wear it again. It's a really beautiful green. If I ever can get into it again, I may just dress up and show you. Yeah. I'm turning into a hoarder. I've still got the beautiful green suit that I used to wear, and it's still like new because I've got it in a plastic case thing, plastic bag. And I've still got the leather bag. I wonder if I could get in it. I'm going to give it a go later. Well, no, I can't because I've got to go to Peterborough. But at the weekend, I'm going to see if I can get in it. And that may be my target. That's a joke. Yeah, that is funny. But I've still got that gear. What was I thinking? I think what you think is, this is the way my mind works, I may need that one day. Or it may come back into fashion one day. I love that colour and it's so good. Why would I throw it away? And if I took it to a charity shop, no one would really appreciate it, although that might make sense. But who's going to wear a power suit with shoulders like what was his name? Or like Grace Jones. Remember the shoulders she used to wear, the singer? They were like that. But the reality of it is, in those days, that really, well, apart from that being the fashion, you had to stand up and be counted as a woman, especially in Germany. Imagine German businessmen; they would have eaten me alive. And so I must have done about 10 years in Germany. And that I wouldn't say that put an edge on me, but it certainly, I suppose it did in a way. It put a business edge on me, for sure. Because you had to hold your own. you know. It did put an edge on me. And Gracie, my daughter, and she's in New York now. I wonder what should I do with that one there. I think I'm going to make little red dots. I mean, Grace is in New York. She's been there now for must be coming up for 9 years. I tell you what, she's definitely got a New York edge. Amazing. You know, if you live in that city, well, you have to. It's the same. It's a survival thing, isn't it? But she's got a New York edge. She's still lovely, and she's still Grace in her core. Super sensitive, super sensitive, right? But don't cross her. And I don't mean in social scenes. I mean like in the street or in the, you know. I've watched her walk through Manhattan, and it's like she owns the place, you know. So I think that's what happens. You get this New York attitude, you know. Maybe that's a survival thing too, you know. Interesting, isn't it? And it all hails back to what we were talking about, whether we're extroverts or introverts. Okay? Should we do the purple piece now? I'm so glad we're getting together. I'm so glad we're together today. So it's really calmed me down. It has. It's calmed me down. I'm doing the bits in between the donuts. Yeah. 40 years since I bought that handbag. What? It's a good one, though. Sheila went to the doctors with anxiety last week and was prescribed more crafting. Yeah. Isn't it? Hey? It's the best therapy. I remember going to the doctors because of the chest pains, because that's the way anxiety manifests itself with me. I'm only being real. I'm not trying to worry you. It happens, you know. I've got to deal with it, and I just go to great lengths to do things or avoid things that exacerbate it. There's a good word. Okay, so I just avoid the things that make it worse, right? And I went to the doctors, and he was one of those doctors that just prescribed pills, you know. And I thought, well, and I thought, well, he's a doctor, he knows what he's talking about. And so he prescribed these pills for me, low dosage, mind. And I tell you what, I didn't know whether I was coming or going for a week. I didn't know where I was, what I was doing. It was like being stoned. Not that I would know what it feels like to be stoned, but if I ever knew what it was like to be stoned, I bet that was what it was like. Dodge that bullet. There. That's nice. That's nice. I think we need a little bit of black now. Yeah, so the doctor prescribed me this really low dose, right, of medication. And I was zonked, like proper, monged out. And the thing is that when I get nervous or anxious about something, often it's about something real, you know, it's actually happening. I'm not neurotic. And so when you're zoned out like that on medication, this is what happened to me. It was still there when I stopped taking the pills. And then I put on half a stone in a week as well. They really made me fat. And I thought, well, that makes me feel even better. Now I'm anxious about the fact that my jeans don't fit me, you know? What is going on? And so I find, right, believe it or not, that ginger helps. Root ginger steeped in hot water. That's really good with lemon and honey. And that's got to be good for you. Hey, it certainly beats taking pills. I can only speak for myself, but for me, didn't help me at all. Made it worse because, well, it didn't make it worse. That's not true. I didn't care about anything because I wasn't really connected, you know. But the trouble is, as soon as I came off the pills, all the problems were still there. I wasn't dealing with them. That's all. So that's not good for me. I'm not saying that's everybody's issue. I'm being, diplomatic here. For a lot of people, pills are good. For me, it wasn't. It wasn't the answer. For me, it's ginger, honey, and lemon, walks, cats, stroking, and like your doctor said, Sheila, crafting. And it focus on the bits you can do. Yeah, you see. So a lot of you are saying you're introverts, but you put on the face, don't you? You put on the facade, I think she means. Yeah, we do, don't we? We do. You've got to fake it to make it. Now, where should I put some black? I think this will look nice black. Which one have I got here? 005. Oh, it's all right. I don't need to buy a new set yet. So this afternoon, I'm going to go up the telly, up to the TV studios. I'm going to meet with Paul. We're going to go to Create and Craft, and we're going to set up the sets, the tables and that. I'm going to say the stand. Sounds like we're going to the NEC. Going to set up in readiness for the show tomorrow morning. So the first show, I think we've added another one to the roster since I spoke to you last. I wrote it down. The first show's at 9:45. Go on, put it in your diary. I need all the moral support I can get here. Having said that, there'll be nothing on this show that you haven't already seen. Right. I don't think so. So we're going to go 9:45, groovy. Okay, groovy starter kit. Yes. And then 1:30, going to add a couple more. What should I do with this? Should I do some 1:30, another hour? I know, piling them in. Do you know what I think might look good? I wonder if I put another red down there like that. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? I think, let me see what does that look like? I can always change it if I don't like it. 1:30, okay. And on 1:30, I'm going to be adding some really nice plates from Tina Cox, lover. Right, so I'll be doing that, and then so that's go. So 9:45, hour one. No, they're not hours either. They're 45 minutes, 42 minutes to be realistic. So there won't be a massive amount of demming going on, but that's okay. We're mixing it up. Okay, I'll get loads of tricks and tips in. I'll put my suit on. She's back. Not really. She's back and she's dripping. So 9:45, 1:30, and then at 6:45 in the evening, stamps. Yes. Clever corners. I'm going on with exactly. It marks a moment for me in my head. It's exactly the same stamps, the corner stamps that I used the very, very first show I ever did on Create and Craft in 2000 and something. 2000, when would that have been? 2007? Yeah. And these are the same stamps, well, the same designs, but they're very different now. It's amazing how we've evolved, When I think back then, you got 3 stamps or 4 stamps mounted in a little brown box. Now they're all flat, beautiful, unmounted. Yeah, different animal, really. Far, far better. Right, so I'll tell you what I wanted to show you now. See the edges? Let me show you. So this is red, this is green, purple, green, or teal. So we'll take this bit, do that. Now let's not mess this up, Gray. So what we're going to do is take the pen. I wonder if you can see it better there. And you're going to run it from the... Right, so you put a bit of something underneath and you run it along the side like that. See? And then you get the edge. Got it? So you go... I'm showing you... Oh, sweaty hands! Oh, this is mad. Right, so you go from there to there. Right, so I'm going to go from there and I'm going to go that way. And because the nibs are quite long look and straight and hard, long, straight and hard, bingo, it takes the edge really well, right? So we're going to do the red there, but you've got to press quite hard so you don't flick up over the top of the artwork. That would really frustrate you. Right, that looks nice. So then we'll go, put the lid on so it doesn't dry out. Then we're going to go to the teal one. Right, let's do the teal. Actually, no. Let's do the purple. Let's do the two corners, and then we'll do these two. So we've got to do that twice. Right, here we go. Holding it so I don't put my sweaty hands all over it. Right, and run it through, and then go from this end, and then run it through. See if that worked. Went a little bit too far on that side, Grey. I don't think anyone will notice, though. Failed. That'll do. Cool. So we've got the purple, we've got the red, and now we're going to do the teal. And that will close it off. Lovely. Yeah, so tomorrow, 9:45, 1:30, 6:45. And then I trundle home again. And Dave, bless him, he's going to drive me up there. He's going to take me up there. He's going to drop me off. And then I'm going to come home with Paul tomorrow evening because he's got my back while we're up there. Isn't that support? Hey? Isn't that like loyal love and support, eh? I'm lucky. Very, very lucky. So Dave's taking me up there and then he's coming all the way back. And then Paul's going to hang with me while I'm dripping and sweating. he's going to mop my brow while I'm freaking out. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What a way to earn a living. It's got to be an easier way. Right. See, I think this is starting to look really nice. Isn't it? Yeah? Let's have a look from the top. There you go. And the only thing that's different now, what's the time? It can't be 5:02 already. Oh, it is. I'm going to love you and leave you because I want you to go and cheer Paul on now. He's over on the craft store and I'm at creating craft tomorrow. So don't mix the two up. But what we're going to do as well, Monday we'll start something new. Don't forget, you haven't got to get anything. But we're going to do, because it's National Handwriting Day on Sunday. So on Monday, we're going to really get to work with this extra fine calligraphy brush. Remember I was showing you, I've got some ideas on to teach you how to use it. We'll go through the paces on Monday and we'll get to grips with it. See, it's different drawing with a straight hard nib like this and using a brush pen. And I think it'll be a really good learning thing for us. So just so you know, we've got them in stock. If you want, you might already have one. Brilliant if you do. But what we're going to do is start something new on Monday. And then, you see, what you've got to do now is, if you wanted to, let me just put the little edge around here, right? And you're going to put a shadow along the skyline on this side and on the other side. But if you just do it on this side like that, start with the lightest, the boring beige one. I always find that's just establishes where you want to put the shadow, really. You know what I mean? Settle like that. And then once you've done it along there, see, if you want to, this looks a little bit dirty, but I quite like dirty, right? So you can bring it down, sort of feather it down like that if you want to, okay, along that edge. So now it's looking down. And if you do a little bit around the base as well, like that, just along here, then it will start to look deeper down there, right? So you can feather that out and you can feather that down if you like, okay, like that. Don't have to if you don't want to, if you want to leave it all nice and crisp and shiny. But what I find is that when you do this, it does give that illusion of dimension, the depth, the perspective. See, and then what you do is you take, oh, not on the best bit, Barbara, right? Then that's really good stamp board. I'm not going to use that as a doodle piece. Right. So then just go along the edge, and you kiss the actual art this time with the darker. See, the thing about this stamp board as well is it's so lovely to stamp and doodle on, and you can almost press in, you kind of emboss. It's really cool. So you just make sure you've got quite a good nib on there, and then just add the shadow on there. And what you'll see is, as you bring it down, you just blend the two colours, the darker one and the boring beige, and you'll get that lovely gradient. It will come down. There you go. See? But I'm gonna love you and leave you now, because I really want you to go and cheer for Paul. It's all going on up there. There's a big maelstrom. It will all settle down again. We will be fine. But at the moment, we're jumping around in that studio and that studio, and the presenters are jumping around. We're all hopping around until things settle down. And we'd appreciate your support. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Jilly, thank you for your help too. And don't forget, if you get anxiety or fear or whatever, if it's suddenly you get that grip and you don't know why, there are lots of reasons why. I could give you a list, and I don't even know you personally, but I could give you a list as long as my arm of things that could potentially make you anxious. Okay? It's not unrealistic to be anxious at the moment in the world we live in. However, it's not a good feeling. And so if you can have yourself with a couple of pens and pencils and a couple of stamp boards and a couple of ideas and a little bit of company twice a day on a Monday and a Thursday, if that can help you allay those fears and reduce those stress levels, then happy days. Okay? So be safe, enjoy your doodling, have a lovely day. The sun's streaming in the window. Find some joy in your life and make something, eh? Stay safe. Lots of love. And I'll see you on Monday. I'll have loads to report about what happened up in the studios. And if you watch and I'm hanging on to paper towels, you know why. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.